Hey Facebook, hey Instagram, happy Sunday. So I'm going to do a massive food container review, like all the different kinds of food containers. They're going to get reviewed. And I'm going to be really, really, really honest. So sorry in advance. I wanted to let you guys know that there's a really awesome email series starting this week where I'm actually going to share all of my cooking shortcuts, all of my cooking hacks, all of the tools I use. Like these containers are just one of many. So definitely check that out if you want to learn more. There's a link. Instagram, you don't have the link, but Facebook, you have the link in the video description and I'll post it afterwards. Instagram, you'll just have to like go to Facebook to get it. Sorry about that. But yeah, so I cook every single day. Like every single day. We don't order takeout. We don't order pizza. We don't stop anywhere. If we eat out, it's usually because we're either on vacation or it's because we're having some kind of social obligation. And I used to batch cook on the weekends. I know a lot of you guys have seen my videos of me cooking all of our meals on the weekends. And I miss doing that. But our weekends don't really allow for me to do that anymore. So I actually have to cook every single day, and I do. Sometimes I'll cook 2 meals at once so that I have like a day off. But I cook every single day. And so I've had to find a lot of shortcuts to speed up food prep, to make it happen faster, because sometimes I have to have dinner in 5 minutes. And so that's something that I'm talking about in the letter, and I'm going to show you all of my little shortcuts, and there's a lot. And I'm really, again, going to keep it really honest and real, and I think you guys will be surprised by some of the things I say and share. But anyway, let's get started talking about the containers. If you want all that other info, like I said, free newsletter, sign up, link, happiness. So there's 3 kinds of containers, really. There's the sort of cheapy ones, which I'll only talk about very briefly. And then there's sort of like the more durable plastic, and then there's the glass. And so they kind of go in price. So I'm going to start with the cheapest ones first, and I'm also going to tell you the best option for whichever budget you have. So in terms of the cheapies, there's like this kind from Rubbermaid. Can you guys all see? Oh, and everything here is about 3 cups. I hear you, bro. Pugs are very excited. I know. You're very jealous that mommy's talking to the laptop and not you. So every container I'm going to show you today, except for one, is about 3 cups. They all vary. Some are 3.25, 3.5, but it's around 3 cups, and that's like the portion size I find that works. Like my portions generally fit in these like 3 cuppers. So that's sort of what's going on there. So back to the cheapies. So this is Rubbermaid, and I have a Glad one here too. And I have a Ziploc one, which is a little bit smaller than the rest, which I'll get into why this is. And then I have this kind, which you've seen from like takeout restaurants, but also if you ever like search meal prep containers, these things come out, and we're going to talk about those too. So that's my cheapies. And so my winner, like my pick, if I was going to say you have like a cheap plasticky one, it would be this Ziploc. So I have had great luck. It really sort of comes on tight, and I've had all kinds of things in it. I've had liquids in it, shaking around in my backpack, shaking around when I travel, and it stays. In fact, I'm leaving for Hong Kong tomorrow, and this is the only container I'm taking with me because I'll be able to make like overnight oats in it in my hotel room. But I love this container, and it goes with me everywhere, and it's really inexpensive. So in terms of like the cheap plastic ones, this is it. So this Rubbermaid I bought for this video. I just opened the package. These are brand new, and I can't get this top to secure. Like I literally spent 5 minutes before this video started trying to get it to like, but every time I push one corner down, another comes, and I'm like, am I dumb? Am I not getting it? But I have tried turning it every way, and it just won't do. So this is like the worst. No, don't buy this. And like I said, I just opened it because I wanted to have it for this video, and it's terrible. Like I'm going to take it back to the store. It's that bad. So Rubbermaid, which is weird because I like a lot of Rubbermaid stuff, but this is like really bad, guys. Glad is sort of like, in terms of like big container cheapies, this one's pretty good. These break really easy, these little tops, but they definitely secure well. And if you have to start somewhere, you need something cheap, this is a pretty good option. But overall, I wouldn't recommend this either. But it's like, I guess not the worst one, but it's not great. I've had a lot of problems with leakage. I've had a lot of problems with tops coming off. Like I said, they break super easy. Mostly I will tend to get these if I'm having like my best friend will come over and he always takes the leftovers with him. He's a single guy, that's how it goes. And so I'll tend to give him these because if he doesn't bring it back, I'm not heartbroken. But like I said, I would really stay away from these if you can. They're not very good, but this, the worst. I can't even begin to tell you how awful this is. So that's that. Then there's these guys, like I said, which you get from takeout places. And if you ever Google like meal prep, you'll see these. Also terrible. I can't get it to click closed very easily. It leaks. I had something that wasn't even very wet in it and it leaked everywhere. I don't know. It says reusable. I don't believe it. Again, don't waste your money. If you are a caterer, maybe this would be useful, but just don't waste your money. It's not worth it. It's just not worth it. So that's the lowest end. Again, circling back, these little Ziplocs seem to be the best in terms of the cheapy ones. So that's my experience. But like I said, the Rubbermaid one, I can't even get the top on. This one has all kinds of leaks. I ended up giving a bunch of these to my friend because when I bought them, I had to buy a big pack and they all like cracked. Like they just started cracking. So, that's that. Now for sort of the middle of the row. So these ones are the plastic that are not like thin, kind of, chintzy. Is that a word? I don't know. My mom says it. Crappy plastic. They're the more durable kinds. And so the first one is this OXO. And so this is the first one. And I'll talk about this in a second. The other one I have is also, I believe, by OXO, right? Yeah, and it's, and the interesting thing is I'm going to actually review this one's identical twin that's just glass. So we'll have to talk about that. So in terms of the plastic, I would say this one, the OXO, it gets a lot of reviews because of the top, but I actually hate the top. So the top is like this movable piece, and it's supposed to be like super seal to lock in freshness, but all that means for me is a lot of work because you have to take it apart and like clean it really well. Otherwise, all kinds of fungus gets in here because there's this little seal. And it happens really fast. And then it's really hard to put back together. And then maybe it's me, but I really struggle to get the top on. Like, it is a struggle for me to get the top on. Like, see, like, I really have a hard time getting this top on. It just takes a lot of effort. So I didn't buy any more of these, but I know some people really like them for dry stuff in the pantry because it's supposed to be sealable, but it's just, it's not for me. I wouldn't buy this again. And this is pretty expensive. It's definitely kind of expensive. So, C minus. This is if I had to buy plastic, I only buy glass, and I'll get into why that is in a second. But if I had to buy plastic, this is the one that I would get. And so one of the downsides to plastic is if you are taking like a lunch to work, it can be very heavy. My husband does complain about the weight of the glass ones, which is why something like this, it's very light. It's very, very light. Like I almost wish I had a scale to weigh the two different ones, but this one's so light. And so that could be, if you live in like New York City, like we used to, and you're on the subway and you're carrying all your belongings for the day, you might, want to do this, but really the glass is the way to go, which I'll get into in a second. But this would be my, I guess, B+ choice. I love this brand, and I'll talk about this with the glass. The for locking works really, really well, and it seals really good, no spill issues. I've actually used this to take, not this one, this one's actually new, it says $6.99. I've actually used a similar one to this to travel like all of my toiletries in my suitcase. I'll put in one of these guys. And it's for two reasons. One is it keeps it, contained should anything bust. Two, I'm not wasting a plastic bag. And then I like to have these when I travel because I use them as bowls. So a lot of times I'll want to make like a salad or a little something in my hotel room, and then this comes in handy for that. So double use. So I take this in my travel, like I said, because it's light, but glass is where to go. So that's the middle of the road C ones. One thing I wanted to add is there's a lot of research if you want to get someone to eat something to put it in clear, all the way clear, like clear is the way to go. That definitely proved true in my family. I used to have Rubbermaid that had like a solid top, and nobody ate the food. And then I found the study and I was like, okay, that makes sense. So that's something to consider. But if you don't want to have something, if you want to keep yourself away from it, the dark top might be your secret. So there's that. Like I said, OXO, plastic, probably the best on the more affordable option. It's still $7 a pop, but it's not the investment of glass, which we'll get into now. So glass is my favorite. When I first started buying glass, I went on the internet to see what was the best, and all the websites said Glasslock or Glasslock, something like that. Let me see, what does it say? Glasslock. And this is what it looks like. And like I said, it is really heavy. But since then, I have found one that I like more, and I'm going to get into that in a second. But I do still think that the Glasslock is pretty good. One of the reasons I love glass so much is I can put it in the microwave, I can put it in the oven, and so I'm not dirtying anything else. Because even if you do buy BPA-free plastic, which this is, I don't think the cheap ones are, but you can't heat it in a microwave. And so one of the things that was driving me crazy was not only did I have this dirty container to clean, then I had the plate as well. And that's just not a weeknight shortcut. So now I use these glass ones, and whether I'm putting it in the oven or I'm at work with a microwave, I can use it, and I just eat right out of it, and then I put the top right back on and bring it home, and then it goes right in the washer, which is the other problem with plastic, is a lot of these you can't, in addition to not heating in them, you also can't put them in a dishwasher. I'm lazy. Like, you guys, come on, I'm lazy, you know that. So for me, I have to be able to put it in my dishwasher, which is why I love this glass so much. And it doesn't stain. Like, I hate that. I hate that the second you put something with like marinara or any kind of tomato, it becomes like this gross pink color. I no, I'm such a germaphobe. So, like I said, Glasslock is highly recommended in terms of all the internets, but it's not my favorite because it's expensive, but because I found a cheaper option that works just as good, which I'm going to get to in a second. So my second choice, which this is, I feel bad saying this. So this is OXO, and as I mentioned, it has a plastic cousin. Here's the glass one. Almost all of these that I have, because I've been using this ones for a while, I got them, I think on sale, or I had a coupon or something. It also has the 4 parts, but on a lot of them, these broke off. A lot of them did. They really broke off. And maybe that's why the Glasslock is so much more popular. I don't know. But in terms of the Glasslock, one of the things I don't like is you can see how hard it was for me just to get that on. So getting it like closed is a little hard, and getting it open is a little hard. So if you're dealing with kids, that might be bad. But at the same time, because it's so tight, it's really sealed, which means you're not going to have any slips or spills or leaks or anything like that. And none of these have broke. I've had these for over a year, and none of my little wings on the side have broken. But with my OXOs, it's a lot easier to close. Super easy, really easy to get them off too. But like I said, a couple of them, not all, I'd say like 2 out of the 10 I have, the little thingies broke, or they like tore or something like that. So that's something to consider with the plastic ones too, because it is the exact same top. So that one's my least favorite in terms of the expensive glass. So here's my favorite, and it's really going to surprise everyone, I think. This one's my favorite, and it's from IKEA. And it's so cheap. Well, at least compared to the other ones. It's really affordable. It's from IKEA, and it's glass. And it works just as good as the others. Like, it really does. I haven't had any problems with the wings breaking. In terms of the, opening and closing, it's the middle of the two. It's not as easy as the OXO because it's a little more sealable, but it's also not as hard as the Glasslock. So this is my favorite. And if you don't live by an IKEA, that's okay because you can get it on the internet. But this one is my absolute favorite. And if I was buying them all again, this is what I'd get. And it was funny. I never would have considered IKEA. I would have thought like, ew, that's cheap or crappy or something. But when I decided to do this video, I wanted to get one of everything. And so I ordered the IKEA ones on a whim. And it's funny, even my husband seems to he gravitates towards these. Like, even though we have way more of all the others, I find him like rooting around in the drawer looking for this one. So he must just favor it as well. And in terms of weight, I do feel like it's a little bit less. I need a scale, I guess, to really weigh. Maybe I'll get on my scale later. But yeah, the IKEA one is my fave. And it's the same, like I said, it's glass, so it goes in the microwave, out, whatever. But it's my favorite one, and it's the one I would buy, and it's the one I recommend in terms of glass. So, that was a lot, and the pugs are excited. So to sort of wrap up, and when I post this on YouTube, I'll post a picture of all these too. My favorite for cheap plastic, Ziploc. My recommendation for plastic, better plastic, not cheapy plastic, is OXO. And then my favorite recommendation for glass is IKEA. But if I had to pick a runner-up, it would be the Glasslock. But really, go with the IKEA. It's definitely, it's funny. Like, I really almost feel like they're made from the same thing or something. They're just so similar. Like, look at these two. See, it's so hard. I actually have a hurt finger too, so this is really a good test. But like, you could see they're pretty similar. Anyway, so that's my favorite. My recommendation, like I said, I cook every single day. My husband takes food to work every single day. I have to take lunches and dinners to my classes and stuff, so we use these every single day. I'm not kidding, every day. And so I feel like I really know which ones are good and which ones aren't. I still can't get over how bad this Rubbermaid is. Like, I'm going to go right back to the store after this. But anyway, yeah, if you have one that you love, or if you've used any of the ones I recommend, good or bad, please leave a comment to help all of us out. But I hope that you guys found this helpful. Again, if you want to learn more about all of my hacks and secrets, and like I said, there's going to be some big honest truths, get in the email series. The other thing I wanted to say is I have a Cuisinart pressure cooker, which is behind me, because I know you guys are always asking. I had an Instapot, hated it, returned it, got another Cuisinart. I knew I was getting the Instapot from Santa, so I gave my sister my Cuisinart, and then I got the Instapot, and it wasn't for me, and so it went back to the store, and a new Cuisinart came in. And I ended up buying the stainless steel basin on Amazon, so it's like same. But that's like $100. It's a lot less money, and I like it more. The other thing is I also have a Cuisinart mini food processor, which you guys are always asking about, and I will put links, not on Instagram, sorry Instagram, but I will put links below on the Facebook as well as the YouTube directly to the stuff, so you'll have that. I think that's it. Have a wonderful rest of your Sunday, and don't forget to sign up so you get all my really cool hacks. There's a lot of really neat shortcuts in there, and also a really cool science thing I learned to make everyone like food. It was really a neat thing. Actually, my husband found it, and he told me, but it works. We've tried it out, and it's a way to make even multiple palates or multiple people like the same meal. It's a really neat little trick, so definitely make sure you get it for that. And I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.